Greetings everybody, Wakia, I'm back again. I want you to think about a country that would wait until the last minute before a major catastrophe to tell its citizens that it was coming, or that it's going to be here in a couple of days, or maybe not tell them at all. That's what's going to happen. That's the plan. Is that this will come upon people like some kind of stalking ninja, okay? It will come in the night. It could come in the night. That's what this country does. Okay, it waits till the last minute. That's what it's going to do. Okay, that's how they think. To inform a populace, or to not inform them at all, just kind of let it happen. Where people are in a chaotic situation, it's like, you know how they warn for hurricanes and they warn for, bad weather, and they give you a heads up, but there isn't going to be a heads up when the revolution hits. And is it going to be a revolution? Well, you bet. It's going to be revolt. But it's not going to be just revolt against the system. It's going to be revolt against brother, because everybody's going to be scrambling for survival before they even realize that it's time to revolt against the system or go after the guys that caused all this shit. They're going to be at each other's throats with knives and guns and raping and pillaging stores. And hey, you don't think this is going to happen? Remember the Rodney King riots in LA? There were guys on the rooftops with AK-47s defending their stores. That was just one little riot, not little riot, but compared to what's coming, that's little. And people were stopping truck drivers and bashing their heads in and all kinds of stuff. This has already happened, people. It's already happened just in a race riot. Now, can you imagine a riot of epic proportions nationwide? Hello? This is what kind of government, murderous government, we have, that it's going to let the people take the brunt of this, just like getting smacked in the face, okay? It's just like, it's worse. It's going to be worse. It's going to be a gun in the face from our government. You think they got enough tactical units to quell a riot of that size? This will go on for months, people. Reason I'm saying this is that I'm looking at the world situation. You know I am. Okay, let's just chill and let's talk about this thing with. Let's just sit back like we're watching the chess game here. I just thought that, when I think about a government that would, or a group of people, or anybody that would allow people to be put in harm's way. Are you in harm's way? Yes, you are. We all are. And if not in rioting in the streets, maybe a nuclear holocaust. Because I'm looking at the stuff that's going on now. Remember I said people about chatter, yak, these peace talks? They don't mean shit to me with Merkel, and I might have had a glint of hope that somehow this would straighten things out, but there's one thing you got to remember. This same government that's not going to tell you when the shit hits the fan and let you just bite the big one is the same government that is sitting there saying, well, Obama's saying, well, we have options, and I'm going to look at the options as far as sending arms and all that stuff to lethal weapons to this puppet government in Kiev. And it's like there's people, 50,000 people may be dead. That's what I heard. Now I met a guy today. Isn't this just coincidental? Really nice, mature gentleman, probably close to 70. He was born in Siberia. He's Russia. He's Ukraine. He's born in Siberia, though. And he was an aviation engineer, okay? And I'm a pilot, so we had a real good conversation. I mentioned Ukraine, and he said he came up with a number 50,000 people. Now, I don't know if that's killed or probably killed, because we know there's at least 1 million that fled to Russia, close to it. So they're not telling us the gravity of this situation over there. And for a government, for Obama to even consider sending any kind of lethal aid to one side that is persecuting another side and killing all those people and devastating land and people and lives? Hello? See anything wrong with this picture? And they do this all the time. They're doing it in the Middle East too. They've been doing it. This is their modus operandi, like I said in my last. But I don't know. I mean, the thing is like, I always say it looks dicey, but just when I say that, it even gets dicier, It's like Benihana slicing and dicing. I mean, it's as dicey as you can get. Because think about it. What if, let's just think about it. Let's just say we're sitting around talking about this in a pristine setting in the wilderness around a campfire. I always got to get that in for Campfire Council. And we're talking about, I wonder what's going to happen next here, because it looks like, what do you think? Why don't you tell me what you think about what's going to happen next here, your scenario, like we're all talking about it, okay? Put your comments on here, but the way that I see it is, how much longer can it go on at this critical mass situation? In other words, it's kind of like that flywheel I was talking about the other day. Once you put that baby in motion, it's like a car going downhill or a freight train going downhill. How do you put the brakes on once you put something in motion? And that motion is war. The bankers want war. Whoever's controlling the puppets in the White House and the neocons and whoever's like pulling the strings, they want war. Looks like it. You think? So if I were a betting man about Obama's statement about, we really don't want to use force, but have to consider the other options on the table, blah, but where have you heard that before? Got to consider all the options, and at the last minute the hammer will fall and they'll ship off. If they do that against Russia, that's a proxy war. It's a proxy. We're at war. It's the start of, the war has already started. It's already proxy, but that's really, really proxy. When you start sending in military equipment to the side that's Nazi oriented. Think about that too. All this stuff just don't make sense. We should be back in the other side. Not the Nazis, but we put the Nazis in there. So what does that tell you about this government? They're Nazis. And we all know this. People with one functioning brain cell should know this. If you don't know it, you're not up on intel, you're not up on the inside info. Shit, I met the guy today from Russia. And you're never going to hear about, this is what I'm talking about, when things could just boom, happen overnight, in a second, in a flash. Just as I'm saying flash, that's incredible. Synchronicity. Things could happen overnight in a flash. You could wake up tomorrow and, let's continue on with the scenario, though. Let's continue on with this, think about it, this situation that we got going right now. Because if Obama goes with the lethal aid, that's it, it's over. And if the EU and Greece and all those, we just got so many things that could happen right now. Black swan or black event or surprise event or whatever you want to call it. The EU's just like hanging on by their fingernails, scratching down the side of the cliff as they fall into the abyss of oblivion monetarily. Greece and Germany's losing money because they're not doing business with Russia, and France is losing money because of the Mistral delivery on the boats and all kinds of other shit. It's like, the EU is on life support. The plug's just dangling from the wall, and if that falls out, well, oops. Think how conflicted these leaders are right now. You got to think about the situation. Okay, you have Merkel and Hollande from France and Putin. Well, not Putin so much. I think he's pretty much made up his mind. But you have the EU people that are like, don't know what to do. What's Obama going to do? What's the West going to do? Are they going to supply lethal aid? We don't really want them to. They've said that right out. They've said we don't want lethal aid supplied. That's just going to add fuel to the fire. They see it. The EU people, so are they going to cave? Are they going to... What if he does send lethal aid? Merkel just told Obama no lethal aid. So it's going to be a split. Right down the old middle. Any number of things could happen with this. Dig what I'm saying here? Any number of things can happen, and the real kicker is none of them are good. One of these things are going to happen. It's either going to cave in financially, or there's going to be a war, or there's going to be a split up in a war. But none of this is going to, like, in my estimation anyway, just back off and mellow off and everything's going to be hunky-dory rosy. Not when the West's killing machine and grabbing machine has put this much effort into. And if they do back off, still ain't good. Because I think what's going to happen here could happen. What really could happen right now, and look for it any day, is a big false flag, a big event, a big, oh shit, aliens are attacking, something to take off the heat. something to add fuel to the fire and take off the heat. It'll be a false flag that it's coming, people. It could be a nuke bomb in a suitcase. It could be a takedown of the internet. It could be a takedown of the financial system, quote unquote, supposedly hackers from another country. But it could be any number of those things or all of them to get people in shock again. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for the shock doctrine. That's what I see coming here. I mean, I don't see any other way that they can get out of it. So is a false flag coming? Is a, hey, those guys did it, we didn't do it, coming? While the people are snoring and in their, not too many people are waking up, but this guy I met from Russia today, he knew. And he lives in America, and he's like, there's many more people than what they're telling you. If they're 50,000, I heard that from another source. People killed. And when you think about a government, that they're just plain outlaws. It would fund the side that's killing those poor people and displacing them. And I talked about it with this Russian man. We had a heart-to-heart. Born in the Ukraine, or born in Siberia, but he's Ukrainian, okay? Aviation engineer. Yeah, he kind of raised a little eyebrow, like, yeah, when I said they got the best stuff going aviation-wise. He just shook his head. Yeah. Russia is light years ahead of what the West has in the aviation field, okay, and in the missile field and in the radar jamming field. All confirmed to me today by this guy. I don't even need to go to, you can meet people on the street that know this. Not people from this country, though. So that's my take today. I told you before, chatter, blah. It's all BS. The only sincere person at the table is probably Putin. The others could be sincere if they're scared. If they're not, it depends on who you're scared of. The Eastern wolf or the Western wolf. Because both wolves are at their door. There's two wolves at the door right now. Knocking. Knock, 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 knock. The two wolves at the door to the EU. Okay? Eastern and Western wolves. And one wolf is a smart wolf, okay, like a wolf pack. The other wolf is kind of like, doesn't know if the pack's with them or not. Anyway, I like my little parables, don't you? My little stories. It's a house of cards, people. I don't see how it's been propped up this long, to be truthful with you. I really don't. But you got to see right now that, how do you get out of this situation? How do you get out of this situation that we're in now? It's almost like they've painted themselves into a corner. Don't you think? Man, if they get out of this one, I mean, what are they going to come up with? It's got to be a false flag. It's got to be another event. It's got to be a terrorist thing. I don't see people backing down here. Putin's certainly not going to back down. We know that, but because he's got the strength, really. And then the other side, Are they going to back down? No, because they got the stupidity. They got the stupidity and the pride and the false pride. Pride goeth before a fall. The fall of the West. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there today. I guess I rambled on enough. Campfire Council, come join us. Come band together with us so we can all... We need some ham radio operators too. If you're in a country and you got a ham radio and you want to join our coalition here, our sacred indigenous organization that believes in the full right of self-protection, I might add. Anyway, I'll leave it there today. I don't know what I'm going to name this video. I might name it, your guess is as good as mine or something. I don't know. I think a false flag's coming. I think it's, how do they get out of this one? You know, how do they get out of this one? How does anybody get out of it unscathed? It ain't gonna happen. All right, people, stay alert. Stay in that mentality, that trackers live in nature survival mentality, and that high spiritual consciousness to help us transcend the oncoming storm, the hurricane. Help us ride in the eye instead of the wall. Great Spirit, grandfather, grandmother, Spirit of the Four Directions, Sapa Luta Gi Ogaga Ska. Have mercy on mankind and the planet Earth. This is Thunder. Later.